Welcome back guys, this is Shrikant. Today we are going to talk about deadlock. Deadlock is one of the important concept. As a database programmer you should know it. As a DBA you always know about it. Okay, so what is deadlock? Deadlock definition is quite tricky actually, but if I'll give you one practical example it will be very easy for you guys. So just to tell you, let's say we have a two transactions running parallelly, and in one transaction we have one table which is, let's say, A, and which is in update, which is basically updating. So table A is a part of transaction 1 which is in update state, and in transaction 2 we have another table called as a B which is in again updating. And the next step in transaction 1 is to update the table B, and the table B is already part of a transaction 2 which is in already locking state, and in a transaction 2 table A is a next step to update it, and which is also the part of a transaction 1 and which is in the log in the transaction 1. So table B in a locking state in transaction B and table A in a locking state in transaction 1, and no one is ready to leave the lock, right? So what happened, they need to wait for infinite time, and they went into infinite time. So SQL Server automatically decide any one transaction and it abort any one transaction. So when it abort the transaction and it shows error like the deadlock happens, so we are aborting the transaction, right? This is the ideal situation for the deadlock. I am not giving you more theoretical concept. I'm directly jumping into the practical demonstration, so it will be very easy for you guys to understand. Okay, fine. For this demonstration I'm going to create a fresh database, so it will be very easy. So I'm going to create database deadlock demo. Okay, let's run it. Okay, we created this database, and let's running a use deadlock db, so will be part of now deadlock db demo. Here I'm going to create table first table to make it more simple, and only just single column for this id, and adding another column, another table. I'm naming it as second table, fine, which is again having a single column. So let's create this two table first. Now I'm going to insert data of a single row inside the first table, and I'll just insert the value like select 1. Okay, run it. Same way we can insert another value in second table. Let's run it. Let's see the data in all these two tables. My expectation, I must see one record in both the tables. Fine, so I can see 1 and 2 perfectly fine. Now to demonstrate this one, I need to have a two session. So opening every window is like a session. So this is the session ID 56. 59. This is the session ID 57. So I have two session here. Okay, so let's start transaction. How do I start it? Begin transaction. Okay, same thing I'm going to write here. So let's start transaction in 59 session, and let's start transaction in 57 transaction. Okay, so here I'm going to update table, update first table, set id is equal to 1, where id is equal to 1 or id is equal to 10. Okay, fine. So this is basically my first transaction. I'm naming it transaction 1. Try to understand the demo. Transaction 1, and this is the transaction 2. Fine. Now this is my first step, just to update the data in first table. In transaction 2 I'm going to update my second table with id is equal to 2 because we have data point 2. So this is the one. Next, okay, let's do one thing. Let's start this transaction. We already started, I think. Okay, I can start, no problem. Then in first transaction I'm going to update this table. So I'm going to update the first table. Perfectly fine. Then let's start transaction, begin transaction 2. This is transaction 2 and just update the data. Okay, everything is normal so far. Now what I said actually, now my next step is, in our first transaction I want to update the second table. So I want to basically update this table with these records where id is equal to 2. I don't know what happened actually. So what I'm going to do, and here this is the one, and in the next window I want to update the first table. Right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this query, and I'm going to run this query. Now these two transactions are running, right? It was running, but you know, something bad happened, something error happened. Let's see what is that. Okay, I can see error here, and let's read it out. What exactly the error is, let's read it. Transaction process ID 57 was deadlocked on a log resource with another process and has been chosen as a deadlock victim. Oh, that's bad, right? So, you know, out of these two transactions, one transaction has been closed and that transaction has been called as the deadlock victim. So, deadlock has been occurred. Why deadlock happened? Let's try to understand now. I think you got the demonstration, live demonstration. This is a live demonstration for the deadlock. Ideally, there should not be error, but we got an error, and the reason for the error is deadlock, right? The process ID. So what happened? You know, we started transaction and we are running the first table. At the same time, we don't know, automatically through automatic job, we have a transaction, another transaction which is again running the update on the second table. But my next task is to update the first table. But basically, this first table having a log and which is in the transaction 2. So logging is there, and the next step for this is in the in the second transaction. This table is there which is already having a log. So no one is ready to leave log actually. So SQL Server automatically say this any of the transactions should be the victim, and it says it's a deadlock victim. Hope you guys understood the concept, which is basically related with the deadlock, right? So deadlock means when one transaction need access for the resources, but that resources already having log in another transaction, and you know, and another transaction having a log on another resources. So this kind of the you know, dead end, there is no dead end actually. So this kind of logging happen, no one is ready to log. So this situation happens, you know, real time. I have seen it. So this is called as a deadlock scenario. Hope you guys enjoyed and understood the concept related with the deadlock, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.